morning. How you doing today?
Good, bro. I'm good. How you guys doing?
Awesome, awesome. Listen, welcome to the show. This is another episode of Cultivator Culture. Um, we have the pleasure to introduce, and our guest this week is James Thomson. He is the clinic director for the Nike Coach of the Year clinics. There's one in Orlando here on the 9th to 11th. We are very fortunate to have him on the show with us today. But to that in a minute, because he is interesting because we have a tie here, a high school connection between Coach Greg and James. They both played together at Dr. Phillips. How long has it been since
DP.
DP in the house? Tell me how long has it been since you guys, when did you guys graduate? Greg, did you graduate?
Yeah, we are the smoke-free class of 2000. That was our big slogan back then.
The smoke-free class. What does that mean? Explain.
Back in the day, you had all the DARE programs, and it was we're the class of 2000. We are here to say smoke and don't pay.
Hey, that's awesome.
The
Tell me,
lamest thing ever.
James, what position did you play?
I was quarterback. Greg was a receiver
Was he really?
back in the day. Yeah. Oh,
So
yeah.
was he?
He
A
was good.
few pounds ago.
Yeah, and he is, and he has showcased his speed against some of the high school kids at Steinbrenner, even in his husky condition that he's currently in, until he pulled his hamstring a couple of years ago, and now we're out of the racing game. But James, what kind of speed did Greg have back in the day?
Oh boy.
Man, surprisingly fast, man.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not kidding you. He was kind of like we call it an endangered species. He was a fast white guy.
And was
Yeah.
he a slot guy? Was he an outside guy? What'd you do? What did you do with him?
Football wasn't the way it is now. We played with two receivers on the field at all times. That's it. And
Wow.
so, yeah, he was one of the two. It didn't really matter which one.
Yeah.
The
Do you
Buddy
guys,
Herd days.
That's
did you
right.
guys do a lot of run? Were you a lot of run game at that point?
I think everybody was back then.
Mm.
The, the, we-
That
the
was
weird thing is though, like we had a ridiculous receiving core. I mean, we even had a freshman at the time, Ryan Moore, who went on to play at Miami. Fantastic player. But the way our offense worked is our receivers would rotate in every play and bring the play into the offense. So
Oh,
it's like a constant rotation of guys.
interesting. So there was no hand signals. There was no
no,
no wristbands.
no,
Listen,
none of that.
what do you
Leather
guys
helmets.
what do you guys think of the wristbands? Do you like them? Do you not like them?
I mean, if you're a long play, if there's a lot of words, a lot of verbiage, it's easier to get it in just to, just say a number rather than having to recite it. So
Yeah.
I think it cuts down on time.
Greg, what do you think? What,
So I've tried them in the past. I don't love them, but for my girls team that's about to kick off, we just started our girls season, and I have a phenomenal young freshman quarterback who plays with Team USA. Um, and she just went out to the Pro Bowl and won the long throw competition. She threw like 49 yards out there. But
wow.
she had practice the other day. She's like, "Hey, so can I get like a wristband? Because there's a lot going on here." And I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
for you, I guess I'll try."
Well, I guess for you,
We'll
Team
try.
USA. Well,
She's a
the hard part
great
is
kid, though.
the hard part for me is the wristbands. You can put as much on a wristband as you want, but I think when fatigue sets in, especially with kids, I think they forget their lefts and the rights. You know what I'm saying? Like you could be like, hey, remember left, like what are we doing? Because even with the wristbands and we watch film, they still got people stepping in the wrong direction. You know what I mean? It's all over the place. But that's why I don't like them because I think the error rate is almost the same, especially in high school. Because when you get to the twos and the threes, those dudes are just hanging out for the jersey and for the pregame meal, just like me and Greg do. Tell me, what's your favorite memory from DP. How'd you guys do for one? Like the smoke-free class of 2000.
Stop it. We were nasty. You know that already.
Yeah, yeah, we were good back then. We were really good. We were kind of the team back then.
Did y'all
You
did
know,
y'all go deep into the playoffs?
no, no, we didn't.
Junior year we did.
Yeah, we got beat by
Lincoln,
it was
remember?
Tallahassee Lincoln. Yeah, and we messed up and the defense
Mm.
knocked out two quarterbacks. I remember that, right? And then they put the third string kid in who was a freshman who just beat the hell out of us.
He
Really?
was
Yeah, yeah.
nasty.
And he ended up being a hell of a player. But yeah, I do remember that, man. We made the mistake and that kid got in the game, it changed everything.
Listen, Greg, could James sling it? Was he more like a
Dude,
double like a dual threat type of quarterback?
he could run. He or throw the ball like crazy. He loved to throw,
Mm.
and he put it right where it needed to be every time. The dude
Uh,
had a cannon.
did he? No,
So
Those
can
were
dude.
you
the
still throw
days.
is the question.
No,
My
Ooh.
shoulder
no,
doesn't work anymore either.
no. I tried to throw like probably a year ago, and that wasn't good, man. Golly.
Well, listen, we at Steinbrenner played DP in our first ever playoff game, 2015. And one thing that Greg or Coach Greg really had to make notice to everyone that was there, um, everyone that was on the bus and those who were not on the bus, that his name was on the wall of fame. The $1,000 question is, James, is yours or is Greg better than you?
Greg's better than me. There's
No,
no doubt
stop
about
it.
that.
You stop
I'm
that.
just kidding. I listen. That's
The Wall
one of
of
the
Fame's gone now.
Is
They
it
what?
painted
really?
over it. Yeah,
Oh,
Stop.
jeez.
it
Because
did.
everyone has to get a participation medal now.
Yeah,
Everybody's
no
special,
kidding.
Greg, not just you.
Oh,
Ridiculous. Now tell me, James, did you play football after high school football at DP?
Yeah, I played in college for a few years, and then
Okay,
I played in the Arena League for a few years, and
nice.
it was fun, man. The good
Okay,
times. I just couldn't let it go
nice.
till you start coaching.
We have a lot of um, guys who have played in college, had the opportunity to play afterwards, but we all three have played in college. What did you like better? Did you like playing in high school? Did you like playing in college better?
Yeah, high school.
Yeah.
High school. There's nothing like it, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Where
know,
did you
it's
play in college?
Weaver State in Utah.
Okay.
And then I bounced around though. I went to JUCO in LA and
Yeah.
just trying to find a spot, man. When you're 5'10", trying to play quarterback, nobody seems to want you. So you gotta
Yeah.
try to, keep moving.
No, I understand. It at which point the game becomes more of a business and it stinks because you feel no more than, just another cog in the wheel. And then you, God forbid you get injured, God forbid you screw up, a grade on a test. They just cut you, put you down at the bottom of the list again. You're climbing. It's this perpetual climb, right? So, dude, who'd
speaking
you
from
play?
experience, Austin.
100%. Listen, that's all I know how to do is climb out of the mud, my guy. But it's all good because it's those lessons that we learn in all of our losses and all of the struggle that has put us in incredibly successful positions. And speaking of success, Coach, you also, after your playing days that you couldn't get, you couldn't let go of, you ended up going to Gainesville High School, and you were very successful there. Talk to us. Um, tell us about your time. Is it the Hurricanes, right? Gainesville Hurricanes. Okay, tell us about that time.
And I just hit it at the right time. The kids were like amazing. Um, just hardworking kids that could play. And, we had about, I want to say two or three of them played in the NFL.
Mm,
So I mean, we had talent there, and they just love to work and they love to compete. So it was one of those, man. I got lucky, being the coach there. But when I think back on like even just coaching in general, my career and all that, and like the memories, I think the camaraderie with my staff is
mm,
probably the thing that I miss the most about coaching. Is the reason I stayed a head coach for so long is because I wanted to be able to hire my friends. so we could just hang out. And you know, in the absence of that, there's really a void. You know, and I miss those days.
I agree. I think that's why a lot of us do it. Is the guys of us who have played. Um, there's the energy on a Friday night that is unmatched, and it's different than a Saturday or a Sunday. But that Friday night feel with your friends, where you guys can coach together, joke together, laugh together, it brings you back to the high school days when you guys were playing. I mean, heck, I just asked you guys about your DP days, and you guys immediately went to smiles. And then we talked about college, and then everyone went, "Mm."
Uh,
And then we
Yeah,
went back to
yeah.
coaching in high school, and everybody was like, "Whoa, we're back again," right? But listen,
It's
don't be.
crazy, man. Like I hadn't talked to Greg. It's been 20 years, right? It's been over that.
yeah,
And like
here
we
and
kind
there,
of
a
just,
message here and there.
yeah, we just pick up where we left off. And I think that's the bonds you create. And you try to explain that to the kids, and it's hard for them to understand. Like, man, you really, you'll never skip a beat with these guys.
Yeah, well, and that's the way that we coach now too. Is in the world that you live in, man. It's so hard because there's so much of an onus put on winning and losing. Where an athlete's career, especially in high school, is such a short amount of time. But as a coach, we're coaching them for a period of 80 years, which is the period of their life. If they're lucky enough, they get 50 years as a husband, right? If you're lucky enough, you have 50 years as a parent. But your life as an athlete is so small. So I always think of it when we coach, what are we really coaching for? This much time in their life, or like this prolonged amount of time where they will eventually make decisions for our society when we can't, when we're too old to take action, if we've done our job to make them self-sufficient, independent, good human beings, good competitors, then dude, we're going to be okay. I mean, I think that's what is kind of frightening in today's day and age is, there's so many, people that just follow the trends and follow the waves. There's nobody that's standing on anything, so that, you don't stand for something, you fall for anything. And I think football is one of those absolutes, like you can't hide. You ain't hiding. So once you get in the lines, you buckle up your helmet and shoulder pads, man. You got to bring the business, or you just don't stay. And I think creating those kind of men create those kind of bonds. And likewise, yeah, I'm the same way with a lot of my friends. You don't see them for 10 years, 15 years. You pick it right up right where you left off. And even one text here, Merry Christmas, Happy Father's Day, keeps you connected, which is what we try to do as well too, is keep everybody together, keep everybody connected, which leads me into our my next. Well, let me finish one other comment, because listen, Coach, you're being humble about this, but in 2012, he James won the Florida Dairy Farmers 6A Coach of the Year in 2012 with a 14-1 record. I mean, in any level, it's difficult. Florida football, Florida high school football is incredibly difficult. Um, Take us through that 2012 year. What was your X factor? What got you guys to that? You can't just say, "Oh, we had these studs," because by the time you get to the end of the road, everybody's got studs. How did you guys keep making it through?
I mean, it was toughness I felt, and then the unity amongst the kids. You know, it was a group of kids. It was so similar to us when we grew up. Greg, you know, they were just so tight, and they would outwork, you know, people, and you could tell it. And that showed up in all the games that were close, because we were talented, but we were playing teams that were, you know, just as more talented. So it was kind of, it's a credit to them, man. It was unreal to watch them. It was like reliving high school days.
That's awesome. That is awesome. We, funny enough, a few years ago went and played a Buholtz team. I didn't realize that football up in Gainesville is actually quite good. You got a lot of
Yeah,
a
man.
lot of kids that can play. But again,
Oh yeah.
generalized. Anywhere you go in Florida, there's good football. So, I think it's a testament to you, a testament to your experiences, right? In At Weber State, Weber State, at JUCO. all of your wins and your losses. I think those things, when we're transparent with our players, when we're transparent with our people, you make those real connections with them, and then they'll run through brick walls for you because of it. So, let's shift gears. Tell us a little bit about the Nike Coach of the Year clinics. And you're the clinic director. Tell us a little bit about that whole process. Tell us about the weekend that's coming up here on the 9th to 11th.
Yeah, so we just it's at a hotel, and we invite some of the best coaches in the country to come speak. So it's just a weekend of really gathering, kind of the mecca for high school coaches in Florida. And it's been that way for, before I was coaching for 25, 30 years. Nike's kind of just been where everybody congregates. You get to see the guys, your colleagues that you hadn't seen in a long time. So, I guess you get to learn a little something too, but it's more important to hang out with those old friends.
Yeah, it's awesome. That's again, and I think for the first time since we've coached together, Greg went up to the ACFA conference, right? The national conference, and that was a big hangout session, right? You do learn a little bit of football.
You learn. It's a great time though to get just the camaraderie and getting together with guys. I mean, I think I saw 3 or 4 guys I played high school ball with. Another 5 or 6 I played college ball with, and it's just awesome seeing those faces and catching up, getting a drink together, having fun. So it was neat. You got to be there next year, Austin.
No, I never. Because listen, I'm not. One thing about me, I'm not a teacher. So if I don't hunt, I don't eat. That means if I close down shop, that means I'm worried about it when I'm up there hanging out, and I don't drink. So I'll be watching you knuckleheads get after it, and then
Diet Coke.
Diet Coke. Well, tell us, James, how long have these Nike Coach of the Year camps been going on for?
Yeah, 30 years or so, man.
Yeah. And how many are there? Is it just in Orlando? Is it just once a year? How many camps you guys run?
It's I want to say like 10 throughout the country, something like that. You got to check the website, but
yeah,
just different cities, you kind of go to, and we're doing this one and we're doing the DC one after this.
Nice. Tell me who you're excited to hear speak this year.
Man, I think Luther Campbell, the Miami Edison coach, I think that's going to be a good one. He's always got something good to say, and he's a good coach.
Yeah.
And I don't think he gets credit for that because he gets tagged for, being famous or whatever, but yeah. I'm interested to hear him. Jamie Rogers from Bradford.
Yeah.
I think he's a really good coach, man. He's done it in 2 states, which is impressive. Yeah. I think everybody speaking is going to be really good, but I think those 2 are going to be standouts.
Wait a minute. So did you say Luther Campbell like Uncle Luke?
Uncle Luke, man.
Get out of town. Yes. I love it. That is awesome. He's actually coaching. How long has he coached down there?
He's coached a long time, and he's an excellent coach. That's what I'm saying, man. A chance for him to actually talk ball is going to be really cool.
Nice. You know who I also heard is quite a good coach is Snoop. I heard Snoop out there in California or Las Vegas now. He's actually quite a good football coach, right? So not only is a great rapper, but listen, I love Uncle Luke. You can't beat all of the stuff they did in the 90s. Does he ever outlive the Uncle Luke hashtag? Does he or does he not?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's possible.
You know what I'm saying? Like, does he go somewhere and people are like, and he's like, damn it, that was in the 90s. It's been 30 years. What are we doing? Because when you said it, immediately I was like, wait a minute, is that who he's talking to? He never gets typecast as anything else. Yeah, I'm 100% sure. But that's interesting. You got to have to follow up with us and let us know what he does and what he says with if you got a chance to speak to him individually. Is he speaking at the clinic?
Yeah. Yep.
What is his topic?
Defense.
Is it defense? Are you a big defense guy? You a big offense guy?
I think I'm offense.
Yeah.
If I had to choose, yeah.
Well, ironically, right? Because when Greg and I started coaching, I was at receivers, Greg was at O line, and then
DB's first, and then O
DBs,
line.
then O line. But it's kind of funny, like you coach whatever you can coach, especially at the high school level, just to be around the kids, just to be around the culture. But you start learning more and more about the actual game. Like I think coaching for me, I know more now than I actually did when I was playing. And it's like now, oh,
Get
wait a
better.
minute. I'm like, wait a minute. Like, had I actually watched film properly, like maybe I would actually know this stuff. But then you look back and you try to tell the kids, hey, listen, you can't get away with just your athletic ability. Come on, like this is the other part of it, right? How many times have you guys said that to kids that have like a world of talent, right?
Yeah, no doubt, a ton.
Do
So,
you
question for you. I'm not going to ask you who the biggest letdown of a speaker ever was because I want to burn any bridges. But who's the guy? You've been doing these camps for a while. Who's the guy that you've seen and it changed everything for you? Like changed your outlook. Like I got to get to work now on this or that. Is there any moments you've had like that where someone just blew you away?
Yeah, man. Ken Niumatalolo, you know Greg, like I'm Polynesian and stuff, so I always kind of watch those guys and try to kind of, mimic their styles, But when I was young, I think like the first year I was working this, like back in who knows when, like back in the 2000s, uh, I had my job at the time was to pick these guys up from the airport. So I went and picked them up, and we're driving back, and I'm a young coach. I don't understand how this thing works, and I'm over here trying to like lobby for a job. And I remember he told me, he's like, man, he's like, you are where you're supposed to be, you know, like just relax. Like you were where you're supposed to be. And I remember thinking, man, this dude is messed up. But then as the years go on, it kind of resonates with you, like, just relax. Things will come to you as opposed to trying to be the guy trying to get everything. So I thought he was an excellent speaker because I think he lived what he was talking about. Um, but there's been a ton of good ones, man. We had like Mac Brown's a great speaker. And I think everybody's gonna be impressed because he's speaking again this, over here. He's like really sharp. Um, Norvell is sharp. Sark is really good, knowledgeable, very smart. So we got an opportunity to see a lot of these guys, and you don't know when you get to see them again.
Yeah.
And bring it back, you just brought in the Polynesian thing. That just brought me back. Austin was talking about some of my favorite memories from back at Dr. Phillips. And I know the second Big Paulie's little pig roast he would do for the team. I know you remember those.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, that's my family, man. So it was and that's what was special about Dr. Phillips to me was like it was really a merge of my family and that, you know, DP was such a melting pot.
Crazy.
You know what I mean? Of people. And we all kind of united under that thing. And so for me, a chance to live my culture and play ball, man, that was really cool. It was a good time.
And looking back at it now, hats off to Coach Gerke, man. Like back then, we loved him for who he was. He was an awesome coach, and James, you got so, but like he had just the greatest way of bringing guys together and making it about family, and something I didn't appreciate back then, but as a coach now, like looking back, he was a good dude and hell of a coach.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, like I wouldn't replace him for anything for what we learned under him, because it was man, like I credit him with a ton of like everything I am pretty much as a coach was coming from him as a high school coach. But I think the key was he let us be us, because man, we were some crazy kids back then. Like when you think about our locker room, bro, like it was
we were
nuts,
idiots, all of us.
nuts, like absolute crazy. And then you think about the things that happened in that time period, like it was crazy. And Coach Gerke is the only man I've ever met that coached a dude with, you remember when the dude pulled a gun on him and he coached the gun down.
Heck?
At our practice.
He coached a gun down from somebody. Like I'm like, damn, this dude's the best coach in the history of of the earth.
What in the
So the story,
world?
awesome.
What
The
the
story,
heck happened? What are we doing?
so the story is one of our like we were playing like one of our rival schools coming up. A player on our team, my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, is that he dissed this girl in class who's dating a guy from the other team, and he shows up with a gun, and he's got him at gunpoint, and our coach has a baseball bat, but he's like, dude, it was crazy,
Oh
but
my gosh.
it was
It,
amazing though.
he talked a guy, like, and I'm assuming it's a kid, a high school kid. He talked him down.
No, it was a grown man.
Oh
It was a
It's
my,
a
grown man. They
grown
pulled up. Yeah, it
man's
was.
son was like the other dude. But it was yeah, the
holy
grown man
cow.
just showed up, ready to go.
But
And
whatever. It's just. Yeah, it was crazy, man. It was. But
and
what
he
I'm
talked
saying
him
is,
down.
he talked him down with a gun. Yeah, yeah, that was pretty.
Holy. And then he
That
just
was
walked
pretty. But it
away.
was, the dude was shooting too. It wasn't like he just pulled it out. Like you remember, Greg? I don't know if you were there.
Yeah. I was by the baseball fence and
Yeah,
I
he
was
was
like,
hiding. He was hiding. I would have been too. What in the heck are we doing? But I think that's
Yeah.
true leadership, right? Is you know that we are all meant to coach when you see things not right, or you see, and that's us as leaders, and you see things that are not supposed to be the way they are, and instead of running away from danger, you run towards danger. And I think that obviously has left a huge impression on both of you. But I 100% believe that probably is what also has shaped some of your thought processes, some of your mentality, your ideals about how to do things and right and wrong. So that's is the craziest story I've heard today. But that's
oh,
wild. I
right
love it,
after school.
dude.
Crazy.
That is nuts. Any other wild stories from DP? Like Greg, you failed to tell me that we're like best friends. You forgot to tell me that you were hiding behind the baseball fence because of
I'll
the
let
gun
you in on
story.
I'll let you in on the chapter of Sean Walker one day.
Oh
He's
no.
the wild man
So yeah,
psycho. But he the fact that you just take any guy, like you have 4.0 valedictorian type students all the way down to guys who are just struggling with their place in life, and Coach Gerke just found a way to make you feel like part of the whole, just being who you were. He didn't try to change you. He tried to make you a better person and a better citizen and a better person for the community. um, but he allowed you to be who you were, and that's a wonderful point, James.
Well,
well, he
sometimes what
kept it
happens
basic
is,
too.
yeah.
He kept it
Keep it simple.
basic, and
Mhm.
everything we did was structured very basic. But we became good at it, and we became confident because we became good at it. And that approach is what I took with me throughout my career. And we never got into the scheme. We were going to do the same. We were going to do what we were going to do. And I mean, credit to him, because what I learned is a kid that's confident plays way further. He exceeds what he should be. And the only way to be confident is play fast and repetition.
Yeah. Well, listen, sometimes we get later on in life. So I assume if you and Greg play together, you're now like in your middle ages. I'm not going to age you like I did last week or 2 weeks ago to one of my, but you're in your middle ages. And sometimes we say stuff and we go, "Oh man, I sound just like my dad," or "I just sound just like Coach Gerke." Have you ever had a moment with a kid where the lessons you learned as a kid, you're now paying it forward and repeating it with one of the kids that you coached?
Man, yeah, yeah. I used to. When you're a head coach, the one thing about him, he was the craziest guy in the room, and that's kind of how he kept things calm, is because you knew he could get crazy. So, you know what I mean? Like that kind of approach, and then you kind of think about that. Yeah, I've done that too. Sometimes you kind of just you play the lunatic role, so people just kind of, man, this dude's nuts, and they back away.
Oh, that's awesome. That's hilarious. Tell us a little bit more about the Nike Coach of the Year clinic that you got going on. Tell us about how many people are going to be there. Tell us, is there vendors there? Is it just a strict coaching clinic, or what is the whole weekend going to look like?
Yeah, no, there's vendors. It's the whole nine. It's like a pretty big event. I think it's kind of like I said, man. It's the mecca for high school coaches in Florida. It's just a lot of fun, bro. Just come through.
That
You know,
yeah.
there's not much more to talk about, but it's a good time, and I think that really the congregating, man, and getting to hang out with coaches, that's the key. You
Do
know, and I'm gonna
you
say this again because I think it's such an important point. Is you talk to people about why they coach, and it's always one of two things. It's like, you know, oh, I coach for the kids. You know, like I'm trying to get the kids better, and that's true. Or man, I'm trying to win, and it's like real competitive. You know, and like that's cool too. Like, you want to win, but like when I really reflect, I think that the real reason I coached was the camaraderie, the brotherhood amongst the staff, and you know, every staff I had, man, I've been so blessed to be a part of those guys, and um, I miss that a ton, a ton. And
when is the
you know,
last time you
to me,
coached?
that's an aspect. Oh shoot! Oh, you know, I coached at Winter Haven 2 years ago,
Yeah.
and then I coached in Georgia for like 6 years. But you know, I coached when I was in Georgia. We moved up. It was like four of us from Orlando on my
Wow.
staff. Yeah, so like
Awesome.
it's the same thing. We hung out together. We, you know, those things, and um, you know, but the clinic offers that, and that's what, you know, to circle back to what we're talking about. Like,
Yeah.
the clinic kind of is that gathering, and you know, it's a really cool event.
Do you ever get a chance to go up there and speak?
I used to, you know, I spoke back in the day, but I don't think anybody wants to hear me now. You know, it's been a long time, but
Dude, you're awesome to
yeah,
talk to. I don't. This is awesome. I
no,
think I think you got all sorts
it's
of
nerves. I'm
great
not good at
names.
public speaking, bro. Like, and some people are natural with it. I just don't like, you know, like, man, I know so much. You know, it's hard to, you know, explain things without seeming like you're superior. And
Yeah.
I think the guys that are good speakers are really ones that are able to bring it down, you know, and speak with you as opposed to at you. And
Yeah.
you know, I don't know if I have that or not, but you know, the guys that like Mac Brown, like we talked about, like these are really good speakers.
Coach, you got it, man. No lie. I think, even having just met you too, and then knowing you were teammates with Greg, I think that there's super connection that you can make. And with coaches just in general, right? And coaching in general is there's two things really that are the biggest factors. One is you have to be authentic. And if you're not authentic, especially in today's day and age, people can smell a fake. They can see
No
a
doubt.
fake. But for two, you got to be intentional. You got to have 100% intent on everything that you're saying and doing and acting. Like you said, is you got to live. You got to live what you say. And I've had a great conversation with you. I'm sure Greg catching back up with you 20 years later. You got them both,
Awesome.
Coach. The authenticity is there. You definitely can tell there's some intent the way you speak, man. That we are very, very blessed to have you with us today. We appreciate your time, Coach Greg. Do you got anything that you want to ask or share, like a gun story, before like Coach James out
You
of
can't
here?
Hey,
top that one. That was
hey,
the craziest
let me go
moment.
back. Let me go back to the gun story because this is the other part that people don't talk about because that happened. Like people talked about it for a long time, but what they didn't tell you is 20 minutes later we were practicing like nothing happened.
Yep.
Oh
Like we
my
didn't miss
God.
practice. You remember that, Greg? Like, you know, okay,
100%.
hey, get on the field, let's go, and then we back to practice, and then it was just all right.
What's
Wow.
crazy is I was like behind the baseball wall right there, and my whole concern was there's a freaking gun right there. He just talked that down, and now I'm trying to figure out. Oh crap! I better not be late to practice.
I know. And,
with
you know,
with my
there's
soiled
some
pants. Oh my God. How am I gonna practice with mud butt?
Yeah, we still
but
went right back at it, man.
That's
there's
awesome.
some genius to that, man. That strategy of, you know, just overcoming like that, forgetting it. And you know, I don't know if you could do that these days, right? Like if that
Mm.
I don't know if that incident would never happen these days. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's just that was such a
Be
crazy time period. But
school will be
you
shut
know,
down for a week.
but
Oh, yeah,
to be back at practice like nothing. Like that says a lot.
it does. Well,
Different.
listen, we appreciate your time, and your insight. I know Greg probably is appreciative too of being reconnected after so many years. Coach, the Florida or the Nike Coach of the Year clinics, October 9th to 11th, in Orlando, Florida. Clinic director James Thomson.
No
we
P.
do no P. We appreciate you so
And
much.
don't ever let this dude fool you. He's one of the most humble people you ever
No
meet, man.
lie.
He was one of the best quarterbacks in the state of Florida his junior and senior year. No matter what he says, he's
He's
one
the
of the
man.
goats at DP from back in the day for sure.
Well, listen, you would be on the wall of fame for me, Coach. I think if they didn't paint over it already. So, anyways, we appreciate you so much. Have a great rest of your weekend, Greggy. We'll see you soon.
Awesome seeing you, buddy.
We
You take care of
appreciate you
yourself.
guys.
Good luck.
You too, brother.
And we're out.
Thank you, guys.
All love,
See ya.
guys.